Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Hope everybody enjoyed the rain. We've sure been blessed with rain here lately. I wanted to mention before we got started a little bit tonight to remember all those of our number we have that are sick or struggling with illnesses, and just make sure that we try to keep them in our prayers. I wanted to talk for just a minute tonight about inconsistencies. I've learned as I've started to get older that consistency is the key to a lot of things. And by bringing up somebody being consistent with something, it lends its hand to several different things. It lends its hand to dedication, but it also lends its hand to an example of those people who are around or starting to watch us. A good example of that a lot of times is the way that we talk or handle things with our kids, that consistency is important, but consistency isn't easy. In other words, if, for instance, one of my kids, if they're doing something they're not supposed to, it has to be wrong every time that they do it, not just this time or that time. And as a parent, sometimes that can be hard because you find yourselves in situations that are real stressful, and then whichever kid it is doing something that they know that they're not supposed to do. And as a parent, we are to correct them, but a lot of times situation and everything else, and we find ourselves not being very consistent. Now, I want to talk just for a minute about consistency when it comes to the church. Consistency is something that actually is very hard when it comes to church, and I'm not necessarily talking about just making it to church service, but I'm talking about a real dedication to the church when it comes Monday through Saturday. Consistency. Making sure that you're the same Christian no matter what the day it is, and that those people around you can see it. I honestly believe that's one of the biggest problems that faces the church as a whole is consistency. We as Christians just are not very consistent on the things of which we say we believe. We believe them when it's convenient for us, but we're not very good at acting out on that when we start getting around others. And no greater example do you see that than the population of young people staying in the church. And the question we ask ourselves is why? What causes this particular thing to happen? People who were raised in the church practically their whole entire lives, and then when they get the opportunity to be out on their own, it's as if they've never been in a church building in their life. And we say, well, what caused this? You know, he had a great mom and dad. They were here every Sunday. They were here every time the church building was open. Why does this happen? Well, it's simple. One of the main causes is consistency. You see, mom and daddy appeared to be faithful. Everything appeared to be all right, but the kids were around the parents a lot more than what we would see. And they saw and they heard conversations such as people talking about, hey, you know, the such and such church service was so great, and kids say, well, why aren't we going back? And parents, you know, little Johnny, you be quiet. We're not being very consistent when it comes to the way that we are treating kids and the example that we are leading many times. Example of that is I can remember falling asleep in my mom and dad's arms countless times as they were sitting and reading the Bible to me as a kid. That was consistency. It was an every night thing, and it was a every early morning thing with my parents. And that's something that I try to instill when it comes to my kids, is making sure they see that example. And that way, when there comes a time when they are not around me, that example is still there. The question is, how consistent are we being when it comes to showing our dedication to Christ? Is it something we show only when it's convenient to show the people around us? Or is it something that we show throughout the week? Thank y'all. Have a great day. God bless.